guys, so I am out here working on the Summit, and so today's project I'm working on the power inverter. It comes with a WFCO auto detect. So what that means is it'll auto detect the batteries that you have installed, so lead acid or lithium. And unfortunately I have not been able to get this thing to auto detect at all. So here's the unit here. It's just right inside the doorway, and you can see here it's the auto detect model, and it has, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circuits. So you know, it's a nice little unit, and it's supposed to automatically detect that I've connected a lithium battery with a full charge cycle. But unfortunately I've gone through like all the manuals, all the forums online, and I cannot get this thing to detect that I've put in the lithium batteries. If you watch my previous video, I upgraded to Renogy lithium iron phosphate batteries, and basically what you're supposed to do is drain your battery down a full cycle, so get it down to like 1%, and then charge it all the way back up, and then it's supposed to detect that you have a lithium battery connected. And I have tried that. I've tried, I don't know, disconnecting the unit altogether so it doesn't have power, starting over. I just cannot get this thing to detect the lithium batteries. Even after looking through all of the forum posts, like, even if you can get this thing to detect lithium batteries, it may just revert back to lead acid on its own. So kind of a pain. Luckily, I am a part of the Mission Overland owners forum on Facebook, and somebody had one of these for sale because they had put a Red Arc manager in their camper and took their converter out. So Mission Overland used to provide this unit, so this is a different model. So this one that's in here is the WF87350, so auto detect. This one is the 8735 LIS, so lithium switch. So up in this corner here, there's a little switch, and you can turn that off for lead acid and on for lithium. WFCO does not make this unit anymore for whatever reason. There is another company, I can't remember the name. Yeah, I can't remember the name. That still makes one very similar. It's a direct replacement for one of these that has a switch. Completely different company, but anyway, for whatever reason, WFCO stopped making these, and the forum member was selling this because they put in a Red Arc system and then changed this into storage. So it was very nice of them. They gave me a pretty good deal. I bought it, and so here we go. I am going to be installing this in the place of this one, so then I can just have a hard switch in this guy for the new lithium batteries. So the first thing I need to do this is cut power. So let's go ahead and go cut power and get started. If you don't know what you're doing with electrical or electronics, do not attempt this on your own. I am not a professional, I'm a hobbyist, and you know, don't take my word for this, because I am not a professional, so continue at your own risk. In this front storage compartment on the passenger side, there is a circuit breaker for the battery system. So right in here, so if we push that, it'll disconnect the battery. So let's double check. So we have lost power. And it's going to be maybe a little bit dark in here while I work on this, but so first thing are these 4 screws. There's 2 on the bottom here as well to get this plastic front plate off. Okay, got the front plate off, and you can see all the wiring and stuff here. So this is for the input from the 30 amp service. So I'll have to disconnect that from these breakers here. There is a branch circuit if you need it, I guess, off of another 30 amp breaker. But yeah, this breaker here is the main one that allows you to charge your batteries and use the converter here. So I'm going to need to disconnect the neutrals and the negative chassis ground that's here. So go ahead and get that done. All right, I've got all my wires disconnected in here. So I need to get this old unit off so I can disconnect all these circuits on the back. So it looks like we're just connected with these square screws here. Okay, pull this out, see what we got going on behind here. So we've got all of our wiring here. So this should be pretty easy to match up because these wires should match. And I'll double check the wiring on the back here to make sure, but I think that Mission Overland uses the same wiring for everything. So I don't know if you can see, but like the gray on both of these go to orange, brown both go to this small black wire, the blue goes to red. So it should be pretty easy to match up everything. And I do have to say that their wiring looks pretty good in here. So I'll go ahead, and there is a lot of room in here too. Might have to add some more electrical work in there, but basically what we're going to do for this is I've got some yellow butt connectors, and then I do have some heat shrink tubing. Hopefully I've got enough of that, and we'll go ahead and get all these connected together. Alright guys, I'm getting my last 12 volt connection done here. I know somebody's going to inevitably say I did this wrong and I need to heat shrink it or permanently bond these wires together or whatever, but as I said, I'm probably going to redo these because I did not have the right heat shrink. The good news is this is not marine environment in here, so should not be, you know, too big of a deal. So but I'll probably end up redoing these at some point, so I can make it look a little more professional, I guess, but not too bad. So we'll go ahead and get this thing put back in. So we'll need to reconnect the leads from the charge port, and then there is the chassis ground which needs to go in there as well. So I need to take the faceplate off so I can get this back in here and get all this reconnected. Alright, so the next thing here is I need to reconnect all the grounds. One thing I've learned from the RWs that work at my job is that you always connect your grounds first. I know this isn't RW type of work probably, but now we need to connect our neutral to the neutral bar from the charge port. So that'll just go right there. So the bottom one is the neutral bus bar, the side one is the ground. You'll notice that as far as the 12 volt system goes, the ground is actually white. So yeah, you just got to make sure that you keep that in check, that all the 12 volt ground that at least is in this camper is the white cable here. So now we just need to reconnect our positive line into the breaker. All right, pretty much got everything done here. So you'll see that there are two 30 amp breakers here. So this auxiliary circuit actually feeds into the converter itself. So when you're plugged into shore power, all of your 12 volt will run right off of shore power. So the next thing I need to do is reinstall all the fuses. So I'll just grab those from the old converter. There's already a 40 amp reverse battery protection fuse is this bottom one. The guy that sold this to me left that one in but took all the other ones. So we'll go ahead and put these back in the same direction that they came. So the next thing we want to make sure of before we plug or before we turn the battery back on is that the lithium switch is on. So there's, again, if we turn it to the right is a lead acid setting, left is lithium. Now that setting really only takes effect when you plug this in to shore power, but I just want to make sure before this gets power that it knows that we're lithium. So that is switched to the left. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this reconnected before we put the faceplate back on, because I want to make sure that everything works before I put it all back together. Let's go around, and our battery breaker is here. So we'll reset it. So we should be reconnected. Let's see. And we have 13 volts. Our Truma has power. We got lights on the converter here. So yeah, everything looks good there. We can turn the breakers on. There's nothing connected on this side yet, but all right, let's go ahead and get the faceplate back on, and we can plug it in and make sure it's charging properly. All right, guys, so we got the faceplate back on. So let's go ahead and open the Renogy DC Home app. Just need to go to the front page there to get it to connect. There's our battery bank anyway. So we're at 51%. So, 100-ish amp hours left. This has had a little bit of parasitic draw, and right now, for whatever reason, we're drawing an amp. So, oh well, we do have lights on. So lights are on there, so we'll turn those off, see what it says. There we go. So our parasitic draw is about 0.19. We'll go ahead and go get our power cable and plug it in and make sure that this is charging at the correct amperage. The Mission Overland comes with 30 amp plug, but this is the connector that our camper came with, and it just has a 15 amp plug on the other end. But we'll go ahead and plug this in so we won't get the full 30 amp charging capability, but I hate these things. I'll just leave that for now. But we should pull at least 15 amps, so let's go ahead and get this plugged in and see what kind of charging we get. It should be better than the old one. All right, we are plugged in. Before I was getting extremely slow charging because of this thinking there's a lead acid battery connected to it. So let's go ahead and see if it's charging properly now. All right, let's see. So it looks like we are inputting 15 amps, so that is way better than the auto detect unit. So this knows that we can put in tons of amperage into our batteries. And what's kind of nice about the app here is at the current charge rate, it tells you how long it'll take. So this is 3.5 hours, so pretty good. You can hear the fan running, so everything here is working properly. And yeah, super happy. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video swapping out the old auto detect unit. I have again read a lot about these things that they, for whatever reason, don't auto detect, because I don't know, they'll auto detect and then they'll go back to their old ways and won't charge the battery properly. So I think this is a good quote-unquote upgrade since this is the older unit. I don't know why WFCO went to the auto detect model and got rid of the switched option, because this is much better. It's charging properly because there's a physical lithium switch versus this thing guessing, and this thing doesn't have a like switch or anything to, it's just completely auto detect, and it never actually auto detected. So if you don't have a Mission Overland, you can still do this modification. A lot of newer RVs come with these auto detect units, and you might be having problems. So I'll put a link in the description below of the other unit that does have the lithium switch on it still. It's not made by WFCO, but they do say it is a direct replacement They do say it's a direct replacement for this exact unit if your camper comes with it, and it has a lithium switch on it. And I believe, let me look it up. There you go. So Progressive Dynamics makes one. I'll leave a link for E-Trailer. They're the only ones that I could find it for the direct replacement that has the lithium switch. So I'll leave it down in the description below. I'm not paid for that or anything. I just want you guys to get, you know, what works. So, all right, guys. Again, if you have any comments, concerns, questions, or anything, leave them down in the comments below. Make sure you stick around. Hit that notification bell. I'm going to be doing a lot more little projects like this on the Mission Overland, and we've got some adventures coming up, so stay tuned for that. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and thank you again, guys, for watching. We'll see you on the next one.